Jason Momoa will always be Aquaman. Well, that's what he says right here. And this is the interesting quote. I won't play it. You can go to Twitter and watch the video if you wish. He says, I'll always be Aquaman. Ain't anyone coming in there and taking shizness. Momoa said, there might be some other characters too. I can play other things too. I can be funny and savage and charming. Funny, savage, and charming. Who does that remind us of? And this is the scenario I thought would make the most sense. Some concern that there would be some confusion of the same actor playing two different roles within their DC franchise. But Aquaman was the superhero movie that hit $1 billion, so he's earned a special spot there. And to continue him on, and depending on how Aquaman 2 performs, the idea of just moving away from that version of the character wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, if it bombs badly, then they'll have to think about that. But the idea was that Jason Momoa was always the perfect casting for the character of Lobo. And in the fandom has been talked about for a long time. Momoa himself said that's the character he would have really liked to have played because it's just like, boy, is that a role he's born to play, you know? And then you got James Gunn coming in, and it just feels like Lobo would be a perfect fit for that team, you know? But Aquaman has proven to be rather popular in the hands of Jason Momoa. So why not just do both? And this, I mean, you can read this quote and think he's pretty much admitted it. So he recently did a video, another one of these videos where he's all excited and happy and blowing kisses to James Gunn, Peter Safran, and David Zaslav over some really great news, but I can't tell you just yet, you know. He's done this before. And I still, maybe that, at the time I thought maybe he heard about the Snyder Cut was going to get released. I don't know. That was quite a while ago. But now there's this. So easily, yes, Momoa of the Snyderverse cast will survive into the new DCU. The thing about it, though, is, you know, if you were going to do this reboot completely, the only way that works seamlessly is completely. So it's still like, well, we couldn't still have Henry Cavill Superman. I mean, come on. So I'm still not entirely certain what the thinking was there. If Henry was insisting on too much, perhaps that was it. And they said, well, we can't do it. And they parted company. Maybe that's what it was, and if that's all it is, then I could respect that. But if it's any of this nastiness and stuff like that, and just bridges burnt by previous regimes and whatnot, and people still within Warner Brothers is I cannot work with that man, or some crap like that, I would have no respect for that. So, whatever the case may be. But it's looking likely that this is what Momoa will do. He'll play two characters. And, of course, yes, they could have fun at some point, maybe a Justice League movie where Momoa, as Aquaman and Lobo interact. Look, soap operas have done it, so I'm pretty sure they could pull that off. So, anyway, it's interesting, but it sounds like, you know, he says, I got to keep a secret, but are you? Meanwhile, what about Batman? So we've known for some time that there was some Batman and or maybe more importantly, Bruce Wayne scenes for the Aquaman 2 film. Now, the original plan was the Flash movie would change everything and reboot the DCEU, and with Keaton replacing Ben Affleck's Batman. And so it would be reoriented through time warp shenanigans to where it was always Michael Keaton's Batman of this universe rather than Affleck's and all that. And then they were going to have a scene where, oh, he was lost in another universe, you know, asking Barry Allen to come save him. So and that was that. But then all of a sudden, once again, Momoa can't keep a secret. Of course, he said it, it was by accident or whatever. Revealed that Ben Affleck had come in to shoot scenes for Aquaman 2. And the idea was that because a new regime came in, they were changing the direction and all that. And so the Michael Keaton scenes wouldn't make sense anymore. So, and then Batgirl was getting canceled and all that because that was completely dependent on the results of the original plan for The Flash. And so they would just keep the scenes in there, but it would be Ben Affleck playing the role of Bruce Wayne and or Batman, whatever the scenes would involve. And so, okay, that made some sense. And now we're hearing like Ben Affleck is out as Batman yet again, and that maybe they've cut all that out. But then there was this interview where Momoa talked about the scenes he did with the two Batman. He says, I shot a couple of different Batmans, but you just don't know what's going on, and we'll see what the end product is. So a lot of people thinking, oh, maybe both of the Batman would be in the Aquaman film. The only scenario I think either that or they're just like they're gonna go with Keaton's Bruce Wayne is stuck in the same universe with Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne, which would be kind of funny. But I mean, I don't know where they would go with that. But my guess would be if they did keep both of the scenes in, which I'm now leaning towards neither one are going to be in it at this point. But if they did, then it would be like, oh, first he's meeting with Michael Keaton, and suddenly he transforms into Ben Affleck. That's just kind of stupid, and that's that. I think there was supposed to be a scene in The Flash between Momoa and Miller where, the Flash is trying to explain to Aquaman what's happened, but he doesn't. But the thing of it is, only the Flash would remember that the Affleck Batman was the Batman that he knew. But as far as Momoa would be concerned, only Michael Keaton had been Batman because he wouldn't remember the old universe. That kind of thing. Only the time traveler would know, which would be the Flash in this case, and that kind of thing. Whether that scene even exists anymore in the Flash movie, probably not, since they're changing the direction of where they're going with it. I'm still guessing it will be a reset movie of some sort. And perhaps they will have cast their Superman by then, and he'll have a cameo in it, that kind of thing. He goes on about, it's really a journey with the brothers. So, yeah, the core of the movie is between him and Ocean Master that Patrick Wilson plays. And of all the reports of test screenings, that relationship is the best part of the film. The rest of it was not so hot. So two Batman in there, I don't think so. We may not even get one. But if we do, it'll probably be Ben Affleck. And that might be his final scene in there. If the Aquaman 2 film even acknowledges the changes that the Flash movie did, which was the original plan, and wherever they're going to go, could they find a way to reshoot it in time to make it fit with whatever direction that James Gunn intends to go? I doubt it would involve both of them, but maybe it would. But I mean, again, it would just be some crazy, silly thing about time changing right in front of you, that sort of thing. And then if by the time they get there, they've cast yet another Batman. If they had merged Pattinson into it, then it would be him, at the end of it or whatever. But it's kind of silly where you have that much interference from another film that some people might not have seen. They might just be, all they want to see is Aquaman, and they don't know anything about the Flash. It gets a little more complicated that way. But, whatever. So, I don't think that means he shoot the scenes with both? Yes, he did. They were both, my guess would be they're both doing the exact same scene, because they had to change it at the time. They figured, well, we can't use Keaton anymore. It wouldn't make any sense. So they bring Affleck in to fix that. So that's all that really means. He says, I don't know what's going on. We'll see what the end product is. And that's right. He plays Aquaman. That's his job. He doesn't really cut the movie or any of that. So he wouldn't know exactly how it's going to end up until they've locked it and all that. So that's all that really refers to. And it's kind of sad about how all this stuff and footage we'll never see. But DC remains quite the mess. It's going to take quite a bit of effort to right the ship, as it were. So anyway, there you go. That's your Aquaman news with a little Batman. A little more of Batman thrown in.